All right, so today on Two Dudes Audio, we have a very different video. We actually have a set of new speakers from 2019 and a set of speakers from 1986. We have an ADS and a klipsch. They are probably one of our favorite speakers. These are actually Chaz's, our camera guy and editor, and also co-owner of Two Dudes Audio. He has actually 4 of these, and they're usually on main duty in his little home theater he has here. You can see behind me the big TV and center channel power amp processor. And then I brought over my favorite pair of speakers, which I actually just got this year, and these are the klipsch reference R820Fs. And I really like them for what they are. Klipsch has come a long way. They both have very silky smooth top end, especially that's kind of surprising from klipsch because they're a little known to be on the bright side. They both have very different, honestly, box designs, driver designs. The crossovers are different, so we're not really comparing these two. Nismo. These are very different in box design and driver design, even the crossovers. For the ADSs, we have a 3-way design using domes. We have a dome mid-range and a dome tweeter, as well as 2 10.5-inch drivers in a sealed box, where the klipsches are a 2-way design, and they have 2 8-inch graphite drivers, where these are paper cone, in a ported enclosure with a Tactris 90° by 90° horn. But they do both sound incredibly good, so that's kind of why we wanted to bring these on the channel and talk about them, because depending on your taste, it really doesn't matter. The whole point is you can get good sound whether you want to buy new speakers or whether you want to buy old speakers. There's a huge market for both. I mean, obviously new speakers, you really got to kind of know what you want, and honestly that goes for the same with old speakers. There's a lot of junk out there. There's a lot of junk in the new world. So you got to do your research regardless. We're going to let you guys hear these, of course. Why else wouldn't we have these on here? And I'm going to go through just a quick run through before we give a sound test. I'll just give you the specs. So these are the ADS LS 1590s. They are a 3-way design. They have 4 drivers. 28 hertz to 23 kilohertz is their frequency response. Their power handling is 500 watts. The recommended amplifier, or the RMS that they typically recommend to drive these, is anywhere from 15 watts to 500 watts, which means they do just have a very good dynamic range to them. You can listen to them at low volumes or higher volumes. The impedance of them is 8 ohms each, just like the klipsches. They have a sensitivity rating of 90 dB. There's 2 10.5-inch drivers, a 50 millimeter dome, a 25 millimeter dome for you international people. I know we're stuck with Imperial here and it sucks. The finish on these is walnut, and so they are roughly about 100 pounds, so these guys are really heavy. The klipsches are only 52 pounds each, so that's another big difference between the two. So the klipsches, on the other hand, are 35 hertz to 21 kilohertz, plus or minus 3 dB. The sensitivity rating is actually a bit higher. It's 97 dBs per meter. You actually have a power handling of, it's less than the ADS, obviously, you can tell just by driver size. It's going to be around 150 watts to 600 peak. I really wouldn't get close to that 600 peak though. The crossover frequency is 1700 hertz, where in the ADS I believe it's 450 hertz for the mid-range and 5000 hertz for the tweeter. High frequency driver is a 1-inch aluminum LTS tweeter, which they call a linear travel suspension tweeter. It's basically like an aluminum dome tweeter in a waveguide, kind of, sort of. Look it up if you really interested. Boy, if you don't get. And we got 54 pounds again, so they're roughly about half the weight of what the ADSs are. They are black textured wood grain vinyl. So both of these are veneered boxes. Unfortunately, we don't have very nice true hardwood enclosures. I wish we did, and that's really it. I mean, 2018, 1986. We'll give you a listen. right, so as you heard, the ADS sounds very different from the klipsch. The klipsch has more of a boominess to it because it's ported, so of course you're not going to have as tight of bass that you would with a sealed enclosure. Also, the ADS just has a little bit more tonality to it because it is a three-way as opposed to a two-way. One thing we didn't show was that we actually had to turn the input gain down on the receiver for the klipsches just because it had 7 dBs higher of sensitivity. So unfortunately we didn't really show that, but I'm telling you it now. So really they just sound very different from each other. They both sound very good. These are kind of me and Chaz's babies. So we just felt like we wanted to show you guys how far I guess audio is gone or come or where it's going maybe. Maybe it's not going in a good direction, I don't know, because I love vintage stuff. I mean, the new stuff, some of it's good, but a lot of it's junk, in my opinion. So, all right, well, thank you again, guys. This was Two Dudes Audio, and we'll see you after the holidays.